They don't love you. They love how you make them feel special. Once you stop serving their ego, they'll call you too sensitive, too selfish, or worse, crazy. But in truth, you're just waking up from a dream that was dangerously beautiful. It's a harsh truth, one most of us only realize after we're shattered. You thought you were in love with someone deep, magnetic, and mysterious. You believed the bond between you was one of a kind. But slowly, piece by piece, you started to doubt yourself. Why are you always the one apologizing? Why do you feel like you're too much? Why does it take so much effort just to hold on to a love that only you seem to be fighting for? The truth is, you weren't loved. You were being used. A narcissist doesn't love you in the way you understand love. They're drawn to the reflection of themselves in your adoring eyes. The moment you start asking questions, they can't handle it. The moment you stop serving their ego, they act as if you betrayed them. They manipulate you with sweet words, guilt-laced criticisms, and chilling silences that feel like punishment. This isn't love. This is a power game disguised as romance. And it's time to wake up. What haunts you isn't what they did. It's what they made you do to yourself. How many times did you trade your inner peace just to clarify things one more time? How many times did you cry alone in the bathroom, then dry your tears and walk out with a soft smile, just because you didn't want to make things worse? You told yourself it was maturity, kindness, emotional intelligence. But in reality, you were abandoning yourself. A narcissist never hurts you all at once. They love you by making you feel like the lucky one, the chosen one. They lift you to emotional heights, then slowly pull the safety net away. They plant seeds of inadequacy, convincing you that they are the standard. Every compliment is a sugar-coated poison, sweet and addictive. Every time you try to leave, they pull you back with memories of the better version of themselves, the version that never truly existed. It was bait. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You're living in a warped reality, one where moral and emotional boundaries are bent to serve a single person. You start doubting yourself, feeling unreasonable for wanting a real conversation, a sincere apology, a consistent presence. And when you voice those needs, they make you the problem. The more you love, the smaller you become. The more you try, the more you lose yourself. That's the danger of loving a narcissist. You don't realize you're being manipulated until you can no longer recognize who you are. They don't need to scream or threaten. Just a disappointed glance, a sigh, a cold withdrawal. Enough to make you feel guilty for daring to want something for yourself. This isn't love. It's psychological programming wrapped in roses and candlelight. And the deeper you love, the deeper you fall into the spiral of codependency. You become the healer, the sacrificer, believing that if you're just patient enough, kind enough, strong enough, you'll do what no one else has done before, change them. But the truth is, they don't want to change, because the current system works perfectly, as long as you stay. Healing after a relationship with a narcissist doesn't feel like waking up from a nightmare. It feels like opening your eyes in broad daylight and realizing you've been sleepwalking for years. You didn't just lose time and energy. You lost trust in your own intuition. You ask yourself, why didn't I see it sooner? Why did I let it go on for so long? Do I even deserve to be loved the right way? The answer is yes. But to step into that truth, you must be willing to look at yourself, not with blame, but with compassion. You need to understand that being drawn to someone like that doesn't mean you're weak. It means you carry the heart of someone who loves deeply. And that's exactly what made you the perfect supply in the eyes of a narcissist. Awakening begins the moment you stop making excuses for them. When you accept that love isn't meant to be endured, that love should never cost you your identity. When you learn to listen to quiet voice within, the one that's been silenced and sidelined for far too long, you'll begin to see clearly. You were never the problem. You just needed to step out of a system designed to make you question your worth. And then something powerful happens. You start setting boundaries, not with rage, but with clarity. You start choosing differently, not from the fear of losing someone, but from the love of not losing yourself. You stop reacting and start responding with intention and self-awareness. You stop begging for validation from someone who never planned to give it. You understand that real love doesn't shrink you. It expands you into your fullest self. Narcissists don't change, but you can. And once you do, the entire power dynamic collapses. No more control, no more manipulation, no more silent punishments for choosing yourself. When you walk away, grounded, heart unburdened, eyes clear with truth, that is the greatest victory. You don't need to win against them. You just need to come home to yourself. Healing doesn't begin when the narcissist changes. It begins when you choose yourself. When you stop seeking validation from eyes that never truly saw your worth. When you stop explaining yourself to someone who never really listened. Healing isn't about becoming strong enough to endure. It's about reconnecting with the truth of who you are, the version of you that once shined brightly, before being dimmed by the wrong kind of love. You don't need to scream. You don't need to prove who's right or wrong. You just need to quietly step out of the spiral of manipulation and into a world where your boundaries are honored. Your self-worth is non-negotiable, and your love for yourself leads the way. In doing so, you reclaim the authorship of your own life. As Dr. Ramani Durvashula once said, "You're not broken. You were manipulated." And those are two entirely different realities. Once you understand that, you no longer need an apology. You no longer need their acknowledgement. What you need is you, awakened, grounded, and whole. They will move on, searching for the next person to fill the emptiness they refuse to face. But you, for the first time in a long time, will begin learning how to sit with your own emptiness and turn it into something vibrant, healthy, and beautifully alive. That is true freedom, and you deserve it. You weren't broken. You were simply taught to abandon yourself in the name of love. But now you see clearly. Real love doesn't ask you to shrink, to apologize for existing, or to silence your truth. Real love begins when you choose yourself. Fully, bravely, and without guilt. That's not selfish. That's healing. That's freedom. Thank you for listening all the way through. If you've ever found yourself in a similar situation, or if any part of this story resonated with you, feel free to share your experience in the comments. Your voice might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If this content spoke to you, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to support the channel. See you in the next video.